All right. All right, I'd like to call the meeting of the village board to order at 7:38 p.m. Has this meeting been properly noticed?
The meeting has been properly noticed and posted according to law.
All right, thank you. And we have all trustees present, with Trustee Ursing joining us virtually this evening. Thank you to everyone who's here in advance for your time, talent, and patience as we conduct business. Item 4, special order of business. We have none this evening. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. Item 5, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right. Motion by Trustee Moore Baldoff, seconded by Trustee Lynn. Any discussion? Trustee Kudo?
I'd like to remove item F, as in
Yes.
Francesca.
Yes.
And item G is in good, please.
All right. Motion to all those in favor of adopting the consent agenda with the exception of 5F and 5G, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to items removed from the consent agenda. Item 5F, consider approval of service agreement with Lakefront Lifeguard Services LLC to provide lifeguard services at Atwater Beach for 2024. Trustee Kudo?
Yep, I removed this because I'm taking a look at the services that are rendered, and they look to be fantastic. The company that provides them. What I'm concerned about are the hours and the number of guards. So given the time that we have, where the sun isn't setting until at p.m. for most of this, and the number of near drownings we've had probably in the last 5 years at Atwater, I'd like a little bit of time to sort of defer this, have a conversation with Assistant Village Manager Anderson, and see if there isn't a way for us to expand obviously knowing that there might be some budget implications, but for us to expand the hours that lifeguard services are provided at the beach. And it may be through increased budgeting, which we'd have to go through.
If you can make a motion to defer.
I move to defer.
Any more, it seems like we're moving into potential discussion. So with all due respect.
I'm just deferring.
Okay, motion, a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Trustee Kudo to defer this item, seconded by Trustee Moore Baldoff. Any discussion? Trustee Stokbrand?
I would just like to say that I have a lot of confidence in the people that have been doing this all these years. I think Ivy may have been with Mr. Gitson the very first year, but I think they know what they're doing. And I honestly feel that if they saw enough of a need, they would have come to us. I understand your concern, but I guess I'm putting, I don't want to slow the process down, because I guess, she could infer from what we're doing that she's got the hours that we've had before. The question is just, could she add more? But I just think at this point, it's the first week in March for her to start recruiting and looking at redoing shifts and everything. As much as we would like to make that space safe 100% of the time, I'm just very grateful for what we have. And we're the only, beach that has lifeguards in Milwaukee County. So I'm the only reason I'm going to not go along with the deferral is because I'm confident in what we have and what we're doing. And I believe it's satisfactory.
Thank you. And if I can remind, we are just having a motion to defer. So it's any discussion should be pertaining to a motion to defer. Trustee Arndorfer?
Are there any concerns by staff of implications of if we defer? Does that raise any complications?
I'm not aware of any at this time, but I would say we'd need to take it up just so she's assured that she has a contract and can start the hiring process.
So yeah, I don't think we're intending to defer a long time, that we would bring this back next meeting.
No, I would ask that we deferred until it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. All those in favor of the motion on the table to defer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And trustee Ursink, was that an aye or a nay?
That was an aye.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to 5G, consider authorization to apply for WSDOT Signals and ITS standalone program grant. Trustee Stokebrand?
Thank you. Besides, I'm going to change the wording here. I think we inadvertently have the urban forestry inflation reduction grant verbiage in here, so I'll change that in my motion. I just wanted to clarify. So the one that we have at Capitol and Oakland, we also got this great deal, $5,000. No, we didn't. Oh, we paid $55,000. Oh, I thought it looked like they were $55,000 a piece, and the match amount would be $5,000. And I was just wondering, because we're going to put one at Lake and Capitol, what will our numbers be for that one and the one that we already put in?
So $55,000 is the total for all 5 intersections.
Okay.
And this is a grant application.
Correct.
That we are taking action on this evening.
Okay. I move Are you ready for a motion?
Yes.
I move approval of resolution 2024-05, authorizing staff submission of a grant to install audible pedestrian signals at the 5 locations: Capitol and North Wilson, North Morris, North Murray, North Maryland, and North Downer through a WSDOT Signals and ITS standalone program.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion by trustee Stokebrand, seconded by trustee Moore Baldoff. Director Bushlick?
I apologize for my error in the memo. There is no resolution for this item. It would simply be a motion.
Okay.
The resolution is for the urban
Urban.
forestry grant.
So then my friendly amendment is I move to authorize staff to.
Excellent, thank you. So any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so that concludes our items removed from the consent agenda for this evening, which brings us to public hearings, although we have none this evening. Citizens to be heard, item 8. Are there any citizens to be heard this evening? This is for matters not on the agenda. All right, I'm not seeing anyone coming forward or raising their hand or coming off mute. So we will move on to new business. Item 9. 9A, consider resolution 2024-06, authorizing submission of Urban Forestry Inflation Reduction Act grant application. So another grant application coming to us from Director Bushlick. This is a resolution that would require a roll call vote. Are there questions or a motion at this time?
You have
Yes.
question?
First of all, I just want to say thank you. This looks like a great deal. I don't know if I'm missing something here, but there's no match. It'll cover the cost of the tree removal, replacement tree costs, and reimburse staff time for planting and grant admission. This is like a Christmas tree. I'm just wondering, so this would be after we were doing our last $75,000 tree removal of that 3-year plan will be in 2024. We might do this then 2025 and 26. And then if we get that, I was just doing some back of the envelope math, we would be down to, if we have 6,440 trees total, and we have 1,000 ash left with the 75 this year. And if we get the 162, we'd be down to 845. And if the healthy urban mix is 10%, that'd be 640. We'd be like within 200 trees of where we want to be for an ash tree mix in 3 years, which is, I mean, I think sounds amazing.
It definitely would be. There are requirements on this grant that we don't typically see on urban forestry grants. That this particular grant is very focused on application to disadvantaged communities. I've done some work, though I have more to do in determining exactly how. There are a number of criteria you have to meet to be categorized as disadvantaged. The obvious one for the census block groups that were highlighted in the memo are income. But you need to have a minimum of 2 to be categorized and eligible for this grant. I've not yet been able to determine what the other one is. So we're working on that and have some feelers out to the urban forestry staff. This would be a fabulous opportunity. I think our likelihood of success will be determined on the number of applicants. I think there are likely other programs that meet more of the criteria under the Inflation Reduction Act. But if there's not a large number of communities applying and they're not asking for the $4 million that's out there, we thought it would be a good idea for us to submit an application.
Is it possible to apply like with the city of Milwaukee or Milwaukee County to try to leverage?
It does not appear to me that that is an option in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And so who are we applying to, the state or federal?
So it's a federal grant, but the Wisconsin DNR Urban Forestry Program is the administrative agency.
So they're the ones that make the decision.
Correct.
And we have income, we think, is one category, and we need a second category to.
That's what we're working on. The webinar that I participated in on the grant and the program suggested that applications be written toward the particular factors, we'll say. And so obviously in order to do that, we need to have clarification on what are all the enumerating factors. So that's something we're working on. And I'm sure we'll have that information so that we'll write that grant as best we can to improve our chances.
Mm-hmm. Well, and yeah, since we're just being asked to approve the application submittal, that's, sort of the purview here, or the scope of our action this evening. If any members of the board have additional information or questions, certainly they can contact Director Bushlick via email.
Maybe rental versus homeowners.
I think, yeah, we might have ideas, and please contact Director Bushlick. We have a lot of expertise in the room. So with that, we do have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor say, oh, it's a resolution. We do not have a motion. Oh, okay. Motion?
I move approval of resolution 2024-06, authorizing staff submission of an urban forestry Inflation Reduction Act grant.
Second.
All right, motion by Trustee Stokbrand, seconded by Trustee Lynn. Any further discussion?
I just wanted to reiterate, thank you to Director Butchlick and staff for looking into this. And I hope that we see a number of other grant applications for those federal funds in the future.
Mm-hmm. All right, hearing no further discussion, this will be a roll call vote.
Trustee Kudo,
Aye.
Trustee Lynn,
Aye.
Trustee Marbalda,
Yes.
Trustee Stokbrand,
Aye.
Trustee Ursink,
Yes.
President McCaig,
Aye.
Trustee Arndorfer.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right, thank you. That concludes new business for this evening. Moving on to reports of village officials. Item 10.
We have a Consider award of contract for.
Oh,
2024.
I apologize. 9B, consider award of contract for 2024 ash removal program. So this also comes to us from Director Butchlick. Everything is in our packet. Are there any questions? And if no questions, then is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I move that a contract for the 2024 ash removal be awarded to Cut and Go Tree Removal Service in the amount of $72,495.
Second.
all right, motion by trustee Kudo, second by trustee Arndorfer. Any discussion? Trustee Stokebrand?
I just had one question about, so if we get down to that 200 level, where we're at 10% of our total population is left that's ash, would the hope be then that we could treat them in perpetuity, knowing there are some trees that are just really huge and like a statement tree in a neighborhood?
We will certainly attempt to treat those very large ones for as long as possible. So the 10%, you're absolutely correct. That's a best practices guideline for your species variation. From an operational standpoint, we're actually looking at a bit of a different number, and that is a target of treatment of no more than 200 to 220 trees annually. So if we multiply that, if we assume 3-year protection is what we assume now, we'd really be looking at no more, ideally, than 660 ash trees in our forest inventory. Everything that we do in our department is seasonal, and that's exemplified no better than our forestry operations. So we do those treatments in the springtime, and we slot in about six weeks or so to do that. And that time we max out at about 220. So, and from an operational standpoint, that would be our goal.
Every year for 3 years, you do 200 trees.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Now we concluded new business. Reports of village officials, village president. We have a proclamation this week, and I've asked Trustee Stokebrand to read it, recognizing Sunshine Week.
Whereas the Sunshine Week, a national initiative that emphasizes the importance of open and transparent government, has been designated on March 10 through 16, 2024. And whereas public records laws, sometimes called sunshine laws, exist to provide people information about the working of government pursuant to Wisconsin's public records law. And whereas Wisconsin State Statute Chapter 19 declares all persons are entitled to the greatest possible information regarding the affairs of government and the official acts of those officers and employees who represent them. And whereas most village records are public unless they contain information made private by law, now therefore be it resolved that the village recognizes Sunshine Week, March 10 to March 16, 2024, dated at Shorewood, Wisconsin, this 4th day of March, 2024. President McKay.
Thank you very much. The other announcement I have is I did attend, I think last time I invited everyone to attend the Youth Rising Up Black History Month celebration program at the high school on the 21st. I did attend. It was outstanding. They had been working with Quabena Nixon, who's a local spoken word artist, and he brought together 6 additional spoken word artists that performed for over an hour, followed by a talk back that was led by the students. And it was just really inspiring, and the leadership among the students and the identity that has been cultivated through the Youth Rising Up program is really it's just really impressive. So I encourage everyone to make a note. It's usually the third Wednesday of February, and just put it in your calendar now, because that's what happened. Every year that I've gone, I feel like my world just changes a little bit. So I would really encourage people to make it a priority. Any other village officials, trustees? Mm-hmm.
I would just like to say thank you and recognize and acknowledge the strong culture that we have in the village that allows us to have these lifeguards. And I think it starts with the public schools, because we have great facilities. I know the VHE pool is closed for a month for repairs, but it starts there. And we've got the competitive swimming culture with the club, the team, and then we have the surfing culture. And it just, I hope that people who are from here maybe take it for granted, but for someone who moved here, I'm very grateful for everyone that makes this community a strong swimming culture.
You're here.
We're a beach town.
Mm-hmm. I almost jumped in the lake last week on my birthday, by the way, because it was 70 degrees, but I didn't. All right. Other trustees? Yes, Attorney Bayer.
I'm technically a village official, even though I'm not listed on there. I just wanted to, I don't know if everybody got their Shorewood today yet, but I wanted to recognize there's a wonderful profiles in there on our DPW director, our manager, and our president. And so I encourage you to read that. If you know them like I do, I'm sure that they were a little sheepish about doing that and maybe a little shy about doing it. But as someone with a 15-year-old daughter, having those role models, in the community, and to see those profiles is really important, and it's aspirational for them. And so I want to thank you for participating in that, and just encourage everybody to pick up their Shorewood today and read it. It's really great.
Thank you very much.
I agree. I was very happy to see so many strong women leaders, and I think for the same reasons, my almost 19-year-old daughter commented on it and was so excited to see people she knew and on the cover. And it's just so important that we continue to have more women in these leadership roles. So hats off to our awesome women in Shorewood,
Including our clerk.
I know.
Yes.
There's many more women who could, should, would have been on the cover, and not my call. I'm not critical. It just is what it is. So yes, it was a little sheepish, but it's for the common good. So, and it wasn't our idea. It's the editors. So.
I would also add in that vein that if anyone follows the school district on Instagram, they're doing a really nice job profiling women leaders in the school system. So that's been fun to see.
Good reminder. All right, thank you for that. Other village trustees?
I just have a very small community note. I know every so often we'll see a bald eagle in the community, and I saw one twice last week over our house. So keep your eyes peeled. There's one here, right over my alley, just floating on the breeze.
You have to go to the park to see.
It was right there.
Okay. Village manager? No report. All right, future items of consideration. All right, motion to adjourn.
Oh my God.
I was excited too, so I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to adjourn by trustee Kudo, seconded by trustee Moore Baldoff. Any objections? All right, we are adjourned at 8:02 p.m. Thanks, everyone.
Community never ceases.